the streets, make it clean for one day, what difference is it going to make? There's 1 billion people here, 1.2 or 3. Who's counting after 1.2 or 1? I mean, really, who's counting? But in the South African cricket team, we've had a few instances where one run, and that's what I asked my players at IPL, Mumbai Indians, just save me one run. There's 11 guys in the field, I'm including the wicketkeeper as a fielder. He can scurry and save a single that's come off the pads. And most of the IPL games, most of the T20 games, come down to 2 or 3 runs off the last ball. So if each guy is saving me one run, that's 11, it's a bit of a cushion. So that's all I'm asking the guys, save one run. And I go back to the 1999 World Cup. We played Australia in the semi-finals. We didn't lose the game, we tied it. We tied a semi-final, no super over. They had a superior net run rate throughout the tournament. They went through. And obviously the money, oh no, I'm not going to say that. They wiped Pakistan in the final of 1999. Not saying we would have won the final had we gone through, but one more run's all we needed to qualify for our first ever Cricket World Cup final. One more run. Lance Klusener having the tournament of a lifetime. He and Alan Donald. Yeah. Still having nightmares. One run. 2003 World Cup. South Africa hosted it. Not for very long. We hosted it. That's what you Indian guys got wrong. You're allowed to host it, you can't keep the trophy. No. India is the first country that didn't read the fine print. You can bring in the tourists, you can have all the revenue from it, but you can't keep the trophy. Nobody else had done that. South Africa 2003, our last round robin game. Now I've got a finger that kind of goes, where is it? Round corners at times. So the cricket ball does damage if you get it wrong. I broke my hand in the second game of the World Cup, so I'm assigning all the blame to the other guys. But the last game of our round robin was against Sri Lanka. We had to win the game to go through to the Super Sixes. I mean, we'd left it quite late. We tied the game against Sri Lanka. Mark Boucher batting with Lance Klusener. Murali's bowling. And you know the Duckworth Lewis, when you lose a wicket, you change the score. I'm talking about reading the fine print, India not reading the fine print, about not keeping the trophy at a World Cup. We didn't read the fine print on the Duckworth Lewis sheet that came out that says at the end of the 19th over, the score must be 112 to tie the game. So we all going, we threw, and then Mark Boucher's still batting. The last ball comes, he's hit the ball before for 6, and he defends the last ball. He doesn't want to get out, because we think we've won the damn game. We didn't read the fine print. To tie. We tied with Sri Lanka. They went through with the 1 point. We stayed at home with the 1 point. We didn't have to go anywhere the next day. As I said, broken finger, I wasn't there. The third story, we're one run, and this is the last story. The one run makes a difference. It's a happy one, finally, for South Africa. South Africa played Australia in what was termed then the best one-day international ever played, best ODI. 434 Australia scored in Johannesburg. 434. No one had ever gone past 400. So obviously no one had ever chased 434. It doesn't take a genius to work that one out. So 434, but to put things in perspective, South Africa were 2-0 up in the series. And now I'm the sponsorship manager for Standard Bank. It's a limited over series, and we haven't beaten Australia for a very long time at home. And we just go, okay, one more game, win the series. Ricky Ponting had broken his finger in the test matches. He was back in the ODIs. Missed the first 2 ODIs. Australia lost. He was back in with a damaged hand. He said, no, he has to play. He'll play just to be on the field. Australia win the next 2. So it's now 2-2 with the deciding game to go, and they score 434. So everyone's going, oh, jokers. Jokers. I can't even drink water. I'm scared I'm going to choke. 434. And now Herschel Gibbs, 175. Graham Smith, about 90 of 60 balls. Everybody just, as they walked out to the crease, was duck out. 4 boundaries, 6er out. Wicket. And it got down to 8 wickets down. Andrew Hall, who's batting, not a bad all-rounder, more a bowling all-rounder, batting with Mark Boucher again. Now Andrew Hall is facing. We need 6 runs to win in the last over. Brett Lee is bowling. Brett Lee, you know him? Pretty useful. And plus, that kookaburra has been traveling out the ground all day. So it's hit the roof, it's hit the road, it is scuffed like crazy. You know what happens when it's scuffed, obviously. So when it's reverse swing at 145 kilometers an hour, quite difficult to hit. Andrew Hall hits the first ball of that last over for 4. Now we need 2 runs to win. Australia bring all the fielders up to save us or prevent Andrew Hall getting the single to get Mark Boucher back on strike. Because Hall has just got to the crease. First ball of the over for 4. 2 to win. Andrew Hall tries again. Caught at mid-on. They can't cross because a line drive straight to mid-on. So Boucher's on the non-striker's end. And to the crease walks Makai Ntini. Now, I love Makai. Makai is an incredible, incredible man. He gave his heart and soul for the South African team and for the country. The first black African to play for South Africa. Many demands on him that none of us got to experience. Just an incredible guy, an incredible character. But he now walks to the crease for South Africa, needing 2 to win and 1 to tie. 1 to tie, 2 to win. Makai facing Brett Lee. So I'm now the sponsorship manager. I've got to give the trophy to Ricky Ponting. I'm thinking, Grant Smith, come on, South Africa, you can do it. But Makai, no chance. Ricky Ponting is going to get this trophy. Because for 2 years I got left out the test team, 96 to 98. Because I had pretty much an outside edge weakness in my game. So I wasn't playing to my strengths too well. But I know an outside edge because I've played many. In a one-day game, it's very useful because not too many slips in one-day cricket. But in test cricket, terrible shot to play. But can you imagine as an opposition captain, when Jonty Rhodes is batting, inside edge, how do you set a field for a guy who can't hit the ball in the middle of the bat? Like Jacques Callis, straight to extra cover, straight to backward point. So you bowl the ball in the right area. Because his technique was so good, whereas my hockey player, it was inside edge, outside edge, you can't set a field for that. If I don't know where the ball's going, how does Ricky Ponting know? No chance. Anyway, so my stories are very long. Makai Ntini now, he has to score at least 1 to tie the game, which he tells us afterwards, he glides to third man. Now he's backed away, and understandably, he's coming 150 kilometers. He bats number 11. So he's backed away, and he's managed to get this outside edge to third man. Scores are now tied. Mark Boucher's on strike. Next ball goes for 4. South Africa win the game. 438 runs. I mean, never before been done. Not just chasing down that, but to win the series from nowhere. And Makai Ntini, now I've got the trophy. I'm trying to hug everybody and pretending, I'm remembering I'm actually a sponsor. I'm no longer the teammate. It was all these guys I'd played with. And Makai Ntini, we're sitting at the prize-giving presentation and waiting for the dignitaries as they are to be announced. Unfortunately, I'd said, I don't want to be doing that, thank you. I'll just come give the trophy. And Makai was standing next to me with his bat kit on and still this big smile on his face. And I said, Makai, what are you smiling about? He was number 1 ICC ranked bowler at the time. He had bowlers 10 overs for 92 runs. I said, Makai, you've had a terrible day at the office. And he probably dropped 3 catches knowing Makai. He says, no, not Jojo. He called me Jojo. No, not Jojo. My 1 run. My 1 run, it won us the game. I said, how can you say that? Herschel Gibbs, 175, Graham Smith, 90. No, Jojo, if I got out, we lose by 1. Simple. And it's incredible. It was exactly that. Out of a score of 438, a world record at the time, his 1 run made all the difference. And too often we sit in an environment where we go, it's too big an issue. As I said, it's somebody else's issue. I'm not going to get up from where I am and make a difference because it's not going to make a difference. And I'm here to tell you, 1 run, your effort, your contribution makes a massive effort. So whether you have a global corporation with lakhs of employees worldwide, or there's 3 of you in your startup business, every single contribution counts. Every single contribution counts. Because I've seen it. So with that, I say thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Jonty. Those are some fantastic stories. But you know what? Since you're in India, you have to play some cricket before you go back. Are you ready? All right. I'll take that for a yes. So I think, Jonty, we're going to throw some tough questions at Jonty. I think we have time for about we have time for about 3 questions. Can we pass the mics? Can we get a raise of hand? Just keep it very short and sweet so we can get more questions in. Yeah.
Fascinating presentation, Jonty. So my question for you is, how do you grow leaders, right, within your organization? And while you mentioned the example of Hansi Kronia, who said, lead the way, guys, and I'm going to follow you. But how do you actually execute it in practice?
I think two key elements to grow leaders within your organization is that you've got to have a clear, not a structure, but a clear plan or an idea of what the team stands for, what the company, what the organization stands for. So if someone does join the team, they know what's expected of them, but not in an enforced way. That's where Hansi was so good. We as a side, so a young player would get in the team, he got a 3 or 4 page worksheet. When we go to the subcontinent, that's what we're looking to do as batting the top order, down the order, last 3 overs. So every player that walked into the South African dressing room had some understanding of what we as a team were trying to create, trying to develop, but not inhibiting him, saying, you have to do it this way. Because each and every one of us, if you're the top 5 or 6 batsmen, you all played it differently. Herschel Gibbs, Graham Smith, Gary Kirsten, myself, Hansi, Daryl Cullinan, Jacques Callis, everyone played the game totally differently. But we worked with the team's goals in mind. And I think that is the key. You have to understand or give people, arm them with the knowledge of what is this team all about? What is our ethos? What are we striving to provide? What are we looking to do? But then giving them the confidence and the belief in themselves to go and do it. And that for us was really his management, was all about that. Identifying that each person had a unique contribution to give to the side. Sure, they had a framework that we wanted to get to or reach, but the process was theirs, in their strengths, the way they could do it, if that makes any sense. Is that possible in your environment? Or just a cricket team? Is it relevant? That sort of philosophy. Hopefully. Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Hey, Jonty, I'm a big fan of yours.
Thank you.
I still remember the 1999 World Cup where I was a class 4 kid, where you jumped the ball. I mean, it was with England. You jumped the ball, touched the ball, and then the ball came to you and you caught it. But my question now is, like, in the same 1999 World Cup, with South Africa versus Australia, there was just 1 run to win. There was a small miscommunication between Alan Donald and Lance Klusner was on the other side. So what's your strategy in, it's this intense pressure situation. What's your strategy or method in order to overcome intense pressure situations like these or in our daily lives? I mean, tips and strategies.
Sure, simple answer, beer. Is that a South African secret? Don't you guys drink beer? Relieve the stress. No, I think that the key there the whole time is that our whole element was, one, the process. So the outcome, when it's pressure, we know it's pressure. And whether you're facing the first ball of a game or the last ball to win it, there is pressure on each guy that plays in that moment. And the whole thing, again, was in the process. We backed each other because we know how hard we had all worked to get there. So we made sure, I think it was quite interesting, just to go back just quickly, it's going to be a long answer. Hansi Kronia's leadership, Graham Smith was then, after Sean Pollock, Graham Smith became the youngest captain South Africa ever had, I think age 21. I mean, let's face it, what do you know at age 21? The media loved him because if you listen to any IPL, any T20, any international match, the post-match man of the match award handover, it's exactly the same. No matter what country he's playing for, no matter what team he's playing for, it's exactly the same answer. Standard answer, nothing juicy. Graham Smith, on the other hand, he played with his heart, a bit like Virat Kohli, with his heart on his sleeve as a captain, and he was quite aggressive. And when he spoke to the press afterwards, when they said, Hansi Kronia was asked, where did you guys think you went wrong? And if he said, well, maybe we were 10 runs short, he wouldn't specify. Whereas Graham Smith would say, yeah, I think we were 10 runs short in the first 5 overs. And now you got Gary Kirsten and Herschel Gibbs reading the news. Herschel didn't read the newspaper. No, sorry. Gary Kirsten reading the newspaper the next day saying, geez, I'm facing Brett Lee at 150 Ks an hour. I'm just trying to survive the first 5, not get killed. And now my captain's thinking out, I cost the team. So the whole thing, again, with regards to that was that whole team ethos. It was believing in the guys, backing them up, but knowing how hard they'd worked. And if they hadn't put in the effort, there comes a time when the excuses have to stop. And if we keep failing at World Cups, there's got to be a reason for it. We've tried everything. We've employed psychologists, the team have had guys available if they want to have it, and it's not compulsory if some players felt they wanted to. But it was very much, what was the build-up, what was the process? That's the only way, because you're going to be under pressure every single game, whether it's a World Cup or not.
Okay, I'm going to ask one last question. Can we get...
Oh,
Sorry.
it's a ventriloquist.
Okay,
threw it.
make it quick.
Yeah.
Make it quick.
Okay, why did I name our daughter, my wife and I have a little girl, she's 2.5. I think it's mine as well. Yeah, it looks like it. 2.5, her name is India. An incredible little baby that was born during the IPL 2015, which Mumbai Indians went on to win. And so I was told this year I had to have another baby, 2017, which we did, and we won. So next year my wife has said, you got to change franchises. She has. Yeah, no way. No more. Anyway, so India is called India for different reasons for my wife and different reasons for me. My wife is, she was a yoga teacher for a long time. She meditates a lot. She is very in touch. In South Africa, we don't have Ayurvedic medicine. We have homeopathics rather than drugs. So she doesn't believe in anything that doesn't grow from the ground up. And she has loved India and always wanted to come to India. And having met me and got married and spent time here before having India, she was just in love with the country. So for her, it was a very logical step. For me, it was a case of, I'm an international cricket player. People know me in India still, which is amazing. South Africa, you know, I can walk past countless people, 10 of them at least, and no one will ask for an autograph or a selfie. What am I saying? Autograph. Somebody asked me for an autograph today, which is cool. But for me, I don't want my daughter to have any expectations from me or from anybody else. And I think the key with India, what I've loved about India, and I didn't have that when I came to play here, and I wished I had, was because every single day when you walk out of a door of my hotel and I turn right, every day, it's different. It's totally different. And when you're expecting one thing and something else hits you, often you don't like it, because it's not what you're expecting. Whereas if you step out with a clear mind of, I'm going to embrace today and all that it brings, that is the route that I want to go on. That's a path that I want to follow. And I think the key with that is that India, there is no expectation. For me, she must be able to walk out every day, no matter who her dad was or what the expectation. There is no expectation from me as her father. There should be no expectation from anybody else on her, and she needs to feel that. And I want to tell her the story about walking out of the hotel in India, and every day I turned left or right. It was just totally different, and it blew my mind away. So, not all pretty. It's not all pretty. I mean, I'm under no illusions. I'm under no illusions. But for me, it's no expectation. It's embracing every single day. And one day at a time becomes a very, very fruitful life if you can do that every day. That's India.
All right.